I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You're always busy, but nothing feels meaningful. The calendar is full, the to-do list never ends. Your days are packed from the moment you wake up to the moment you finally collapse into bed. And yet, somewhere deep down, you can't shake the hollow feeling. It's as if you're moving at full speed toward a destination you never actually chose. The hours get used up, but they don't seem to add up. And this video is about breaking that cycle, about helping you understand why your life feels like endless motion without substance, and how to shift toward meaning without having to blow everything up and start over. If you stay with me, you'll learn why that always-on feeling has less to do with how much you're doing and more to do with what you're doing, and more importantly, the way you're doing it. We'll uncover the real reason your days feel like they're disappearing in a blur, and I'll walk you through a simple, daily ritual that begins to reconnect you to meaning before the rush sweeps you away. By the end, you'll have a way to navigate your life that leaves you not just accomplished, but deeply connected. Right now, your busyness probably feels unavoidable. Work demands, family responsibilities, the constant notifications and messages that keep you in reactive mode. You might even take pride in it, being productive, reliable, the one who gets things done. But pride fades fast when every day ends with the same dull exhaustion and the quiet suspicion that you didn't actually live any of it. This isn't about laziness or burnout alone. It's about disconnection from your own values, your own presence, your own reasons for doing any of it. The truth is, busyness is often a disguise. It keeps you from sitting still long enough to notice the deeper questions, the ones that can feel uncomfortable but necessary. Questions like, do I actually care about this? Is this where I want my energy to go? If this were my last year alive, would this still matter? Without those pauses, your days run on autopilot. And autopilot is efficient at only one thing, getting you through a life you're not truly in. That's why this conversation matters. Because until you understand the hidden function of your busyness, you can't change it. And when you do see it clearly, you'll start to feel space where there used to be only noise. Space for meaning to return. Space for you to choose, not just react. And in the next section, we're going to look directly at what that busyness is really protecting you from, and why naming it is the first step in reclaiming a life that actually feels like yours. Busyness isn't always about getting things done. More often than not, it's about avoiding something. That constant motion you've normalized, it can be a shield, a way to protect yourself from stillness, from silence, from the uncomfortable truths that might surface if you ever stopped long enough to feel them. In our culture, productive is a compliment, but few ever ask if the production has meaning. The result is a life full of motion, but empty of depth. Think about it. The moment your calendar clears, the moment there's an unexpected gap in the day, what happens? Most people rush to fill it with errands, scrolling, minor tasks, or busy work, because in that gap, the mind starts to wander into territory you've been avoiding. Maybe it's the realization that your work no longer excites you. Maybe it's the ache that your relationships feel transactional. Maybe it's the quiet question of whether this is the life you thought you'd be living by now. When busyness becomes the default, it's not just stealing your time. It's training your nervous system to equate stillness with discomfort and urgency with worth. You end up measuring your value in how much you can check off, rather than how deeply you're living. The cruel irony is that this very pattern keeps you from doing the one thing that could restore meaning, slowing down enough to choose your actions with intention. Here's the shift. Your lack of meaning is not because you're failing to do enough. It's because you've been doing too much without asking why. This isn't about throwing away your commitments or quitting your job tomorrow. It's about reorienting the way you enter each day so that the things you spend your time on are actually connected to the life you want. To do that, you need a grounding point, something small, consistent, and deliberate that cuts through the noise before the noise claims you. And in the next section, I'll walk you through a daily ritual that takes less than 2 minutes, but begins to rewire your relationship with time, attention, and meaning. Here's the truth. Meaning doesn't just appear when life slows down. You have to create the conditions for it. And that starts with an intentional pause before the day can pull you under. The ritual I'm about to share is designed to interrupt autopilot, reconnect you with what matters, and anchor your actions in something deeper than habit or obligation. It takes less than 90 seconds, but done consistently, it can shift the way you experience every single day. Each morning, ideally before opening your phone, checking email, or speaking to anyone, find a quiet spot to stand or sit where you won't be interrupted. Close your eyes. Place one hand over your heart and the other on your abdomen. Take 3 slow, deliberate breaths, letting your exhale lengthen just a little more each time. This is your reset, the signal to your body and mind that you're about to choose, not just react. When the third breath settles, ask yourself one question. What's the one thing today that will matter to me a year from now? The answer might be obvious. A conversation you've been avoiding, a creative project you've been neglecting, a small step toward a bigger goal. Or it might surprise you, something relational, restorative, or deeply personal that has nothing to do with your to-do list. Once you have your answer, name one small action you can take today to move it forward. It doesn't have to be monumental, just real and intentional. Write it down or say it out loud. Then, carry that intention into your day like a compass. When busyness tries to sweep you into distraction, you'll have a clear point of return. This isn't about adding more work to your plate. It's about replacing aimless motion with deliberate choice. Over time, your mind learns to seek that choice first, before the noise can set the tone. That's how you reorient your days toward meaning, without dismantling your whole life. And in the next section, we'll take that one step further, into a presence practice that lets you notice in real time when you've drifted into empty busyness and bring yourself back before the day is lost. The daily ritual anchors your mornings, but meaning isn't decided once a day. It's shaped moment by moment. Even with the best intentions, the current of busyness can pull you back into autopilot before lunch. That's why you need a presence practice, a way to catch yourself midstream, recognize when you've drifted, and gently steer back toward alignment. Here's how it works. Several times a day, especially in moments when you feel rushed, scattered, or disconnected, pause for just 30 seconds. Plant your feet flat on the ground. Notice the weight of your body being held by the floor. Take one slow breath in and one slow breath out, letting your shoulders drop. Then ask yourself quietly, is what I'm doing right now connected to what matters? If the answer is yes, return to it with full attention. If the answer is no, choose one of 2 things. Either stop and redirect towards something that is, or continue with the awareness that this task is simply maintenance, not meaning, and shouldn't dominate your day. This simple check-in stops the unconscious momentum that keeps you tangled in low-value busyness. Over time, this practice retrains your nervous system to see stillness not as a threat, but as a reset. You begin to trust that even in the middle of a crowded day, you can step outside the noise for a moment and remember what matters. And that remembering has a way of quietly reshaping your choices, your priorities, and even the way you experience time. The more often you return here, the more your days begin to feel intentional, even when they're full. And in the final section, we'll seal it all together, combining the awareness, the daily ritual, and the presence practice into a rhythm that keeps you moving, but never away from yourself. You've seen what happens when life runs on autopilot. Full days that leave you feeling empty. And now you have the tools to interrupt that cycle. The awareness of what busyness has been protecting you from. The morning ritual that reorients you before the day claims you. And the presence practice that lets you course correct in real time. This is how you shift from motion for motion's sake into a life where what you do actually matters to you. To recap, each morning, before the noise begins, take 3 slow breaths with your hand over your heart and ask, what's the one thing today that will matter to me a year from now? Choose one small action and anchor your day to it. That's your compass. Then, throughout the day, use the 30-second presence check. Feel your feet, take a slow breath, and ask, is what I'm doing right now connected to what matters? If it is, give it your full presence. If it isn't, either shift direction or consciously limit the time it takes. The changes will be subtle at first. More moments of satisfaction, less end-of-day hollowness. Over weeks and months, those moments stack into a new way of living. You'll notice that even on your busiest days, you feel connected, grounded, and less willing to give your hours away to things that leave you empty. Meaning doesn't happen by accident. It's created in the choices you make over and over again, especially the small ones. And now you have the rhythm to keep those choices alive. You don't need to do more to feel alive. You need to be awake in what you're already doing. And that begins every time you choose to stop running and start returning. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.